Hi, Rebecca. This is in response to uh, your response about what are we going to do about suffering, um, which one it is anyway. Um, I actually really was kind of reluctant to respond to this um, because I can't really say that I escape responsibility. Um, and yet I've been really good at uh, putting it out of my mind. I'm so good at putting it out of my mind that I actually, you know, within a day after seeing your video, I was sitting down and was about halfway through eating my dinner before I even really thought about what you'd said, and that kind of made it less enjoyable to finish eating the chicken that I was eating. Um, I think for I have to, however, disagree. I disagree with the idea that it's worse to cause harm to animals than it is to cause harm to people. I really can't agree with that, even though I know that was a big. Obviously, that strikes it strikes it that way with you, um, but to me, it doesn't make it better that you can consider and understand the way you're being treated. I don't think it makes it better that you're sitting there knowing, understanding, being able to project into the future, and basically sitting there being treated like nothing. I mean, an animal may be, and I won't contest that animals suffer. I mean, I think it's pretty self-serving to think that animals don't feel anything when they show every sign of feeling things. Um, it's not a program. It's not a mere reflex. You know, they don't probably have a full. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty obvious that they don't have a full understanding uh, of their situation any more than, uh, well, that they have a lesser degree of understanding of what's going on around them than we do, and we don't have a perfect understanding of what's going on around us. But I don't know. I mean, if you want things to change, the people that you have to, the part that you have to save, the part that you have to get working right, is not the unconsidering part of the world. It's the considering part. Um, Now, geez, my light's fading even more. If you take the metaphor, or I guess the simile of the world, the whole world, in or at least the whole living world as being like a body, then it's pretty clear that it's the humans that are the nervous system, or at least the higher centers of the nervous system. And if you look at the reflex of any animal, pretty much any animal uh, will preferentially protect its senses and its brain, because if those aren't working, it's going to be unresponsive. They might want to change things, but it won't be able to. Well, it won't even want to. It won't even want to, even if that's really important. Um, and that means that the first people that we have to engage with, the first things that we have to protect, are the other people in the world. Um, Even, and I've tended to look at things as, in a sense, we can't really save everybody. We can't provide for all the needs of everything that lives on Earth, because those needs conflict. I mean, maybe we don't have to be, and I think this is something that I've never really incorporated into my thinking, because it's so complicated. It's so It makes things so much less simple to say that we have to really be considerate of those things, even those things that we're going to kill, that we have to treat them in a more compassionate way. Um, it really actually comes down to something that we don't really like to consider, is that there's a cost. There's a, I mean, there's a value to, but there's a cost to saving people and animals from suffering. There's a price tag. And I don't necessarily, you can say money, but money is just a medium of exchange. I mean, it becomes a god to some people, but it's basically a medium of exchange. It represents effort and resources, and those things are not in unlimited supply. I mean, maybe if the world worked much more from, you could just think it and it would be, then maybe it wouldn't be so limited. But I don't see much evidence of that. It seems like you have to do the work, that you have to go through the process of, obtaining resources. They just don't fall into your lap. And that means that there really is a competition. And I mean, people don't even want to acknowledge that there's a price that we are willing to pay and we are not willing to pay for human lives. Now, human lives are a long way away. People have a tendency to not be willing to pay for very much at all because we're the way we're set up. Our senses see what's nearby far more clearly than they see what's far away. Now, we use artificial improvements. We use our cameras in distant places. But if it's causing us pain, it's very easy for us to turn away from that. We can just, if we're watching it on TV, we can switch the channel. If if it's on a site we are looking at, we can click to another site. We don't have to engage with things. And it's not directly applicable. I mean, it's more so now than ever before, but still a lot of people don't really see that connection of what's happening distant from them. They don't see it as being critical. They only have so much time. They only have so much effort and gumption. I mean, yeah, if we were all more enthusiastic, we could probably do much more than we do. And I think there is something very definitely done in our culture to discourage that. If you want to talk about serious things, our culture doesn't really support that. The heroes of our culture are not thinkers, really. The heroes of our cultures are very pretty people and sometimes eloquent people, but particularly entertainers. We have entertainers and, maybe I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm basically just going to say, yeah, we probably do. You did actually have an effect on my thinking. I don't know where it leads, because I don't know where to go from here in a sense, because yes, I think people matter more than animals. Before this, though, I've been pretty much willing to say, okay, if you don't, and I've always been uncomfortable with the idea of having things that might be or are near sentience, that there's an argument that they think. I've always been leery of putting them in the same boat as other animals, which I, up to now, have pretty much said, something, yeah, it's kind of sick if you like hurting something that can suffer, which is basically animals can suffer whether or not they can think, they can suffer. So if you like making other things suffer, whether it's animals or people, you're probably a pretty sick mookie. But anyway, I guess I have to wrap it up now. But you did change my thinking a bit.